What up, YouTube? Alpha Survival coming at you on the 7th day of January, behind enemy lines in occupied communist Washington State, USA. That's right, I live in one of the most communist states of the country. We passed I-1639, which is a red flag gun law state now. If you don't know much about your red flag gun law states, I suggest you research it. I don't want to go into them too much because I'm already a little heated tonight about what's going on in my country. But it does behoove you to look at what's going on in all the states, the direct violation of our constitutional rights, and yeah, we should all be a little worried about that. I'm going to start this off with saying, I was for Trump. I voted for the man. I fully hate Clintons, their foundation, and what they stand for. Trump talked a good talk, and I'm not convinced he's all bad, but, there's a lot of stuff happening lately that I'm starting to question him, I know a lot of you Q followers just say, trust the plan, trust the plan. This is all part of the plan, but, I don't think it is. And if it is part of the plan's not to look out for common folk like me and you. There's a lot of shit sticks out there that use the system, welfare, food stamps, government assistance programs, a lot of them out there, I don't think one of us haven't stood behind some asshole in line ordering $100 worth of steaks or some bullshit like that off of hardworking folks like me and you, our tax money, we bust our ass day in and day out, have Uncle Sam take a bunch of money from us just so these lazy sons of bitches can live off of us, But with that being said, there's still a percentage of people that have true disabilities, that need our help, need our assistance, and it's no fault to them. A lot of them are wounded vets. A lot of them are people born with disabilities. A lot of people are people that acquire disabilities, either through the workforce by getting hurt on the job, or, unfortunately, like get hurt in a car accident or something like that. So there are people out there that need our assistance, and, I'm personally for a wall. I'm not for 20-foot cement Great Wall of China wall. But, I do believe, I worked in corrections for a long time. We do the wall like we did that, just a few layers of fencing, some concertina wire, some motion sensors, some security cameras, I think that'd be good. Give Border Patrol the tools they need, the funding that they need, and take the gloves off of them. Let them go do what they were trained to do, So this wall thing, he wants just over $5 billion. That sounds like a shitload of money, right? But our currency isn't backed by anything anymore. Not silver, not gold. It's a fiat currency, right? Our dollar is worth nothing compared to what it used to be worth. So $5 billion is a drop in the hat compared to what our funding is per year for the entire government. $5 billion can be printed off in a day. And yeah, I'm not saying we just need to print money to print money. I'm totally against that. But what I am saying is the damage is already done. America, our currency is already fucked, okay? You can't find a level-headed economist out there that doesn't agree with this statement. America's economy will collapse no matter what. No matter what kind of stimulus pack, tax cut, tariffs, tax increase you want to do, the damage is done. Simple as that. We can't even pay on the interest, let alone the principal. So, at some point, when do we just say fuck it, right? The damage is already done. Print off another $5 billion. What the hell is it gonna do? It ain't gonna sink the economy. That shit's already happening. Oh, the stock market's up a few points. Yeah, kick it back 2 weeks. We're dropping 3, 4, 5, 600 points. You know, I mentioned in an earlier video, that was nothing but a fat cat bounce. You know, the economy is going to crash. No question about it, and I'm not going to argue that point anymore. No, I'm not a stockbroker or a financial advisor by any means, so don't take my advice solely. But just from what I see, yeah, our economy's in some major trouble. So, I think that, you know, printing off $5 billion to give Trump power to build a wall, you know, if it stops us going into a emergency situation or the words not off the top of my head, again, this isn't scripted, this is just kind of me ranting right now, and again, I am a little heated, so my mind's a little flustered, but, you know, if that stops essentially a martial law, I'm all for it. If it gives food stamps to those people that need it, including those shit sticks that are lazy as fuck and just use the system, you know what? Go for it. Because if those people don't get their way, they're going to riot in the streets. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina during the Black Lives Matter movement when they were rioting in the streets. They were telling on local news white people not to go to work if they didn't have to, or not leave their house if they didn't have to, and do not stop at roadblocks because people were getting pulled out of their cars. So that over some kid that got shot by a cop because he reached for the cop's gun. Imagine what they're going to do. All groups of people. I'm not taking one specific group of people out here, but imagine what they're all going to do. Everybody that's on health care, everybody that's on food stamps, everybody with their free medical and dental and all that kind of fun stuff, and their snaps and everything. You know, what are they going to do when there's no food? What are they going to do when their funding isn't going to get them their hospital visit that gets them their free pain meds that they're so addicted to that the government pushes opiates through? You know, what are they going to do? They're going to be having their pitchforks out in the streets. That's what the hell they're going to do. And then people like me and you are going to have to deal with that in our streets. Now, I know you can't hear right now, and I might be a little flustered, but I live about 7-8 miles away from Fairchild Air Force Base, and there are helicopters going crazy right now outside. So I'm trying to talk to you, trying to make sense, and all the time hearing chopper after chopper fly overhead. But I digress. So what I'm getting at is $5 billion may be a lot of money, but imagine the damage that's going to be done by people burning down convenience stores, robbing stores, people getting hurt, police organizations trying to contain this, people getting hurt, the overtime just that they're going to have to pay, the resources that they're going to have to deploy. It's going to cost a hell of a lot more than $5 billion. Okay? Me personally, you know, I study history quite a bit. And again, I am pro-Trump. Don't get me wrong. Don't get my words twisted. But we're going down a dangerous slope. When we have a government shutdown that's going to be cutting off funding for millions of people that depend on it, whether it be good or bad, millions of people in America depend on the government's assistance. And they aren't just going to take it quiet in the night, you know. People's tax returns aren't going to be coming, you know. You got all the lefts, in my mind, they're domestic terrorist organizations like Antifa and other organizations like that. I don't want to say them all out here because this video will probably get banned if I do. But you guys know the ones I'm talking about. The BL and stuff like that. We're headed down a slippery slope. We're bringing the military back from overseas. You see massive, massive troop movements all across America. You know, you can pull up video after video on YouTube. You know, choppers flying into Texas being loaded up on trains, Humvee convoys, you know, Stryker convoys. You know, even here in my hometown, like I just told you, Fairchild Air Force Base has been off the hook. Neither me or my wife have been able to sleep really at all in the last 3 weeks because all night long, chopper after chopper, C-130 after C-130. We even saw some unmanned drones flying into there, you know what I mean? We saw some Harriers a couple weeks ago. You know, just massive troop movements. You know, I'm getting reports out of the Tacoma, Fort Lewis area with whole Stryker brigades on the move and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if that's credited, if anybody up there has seen that or got video or knows anybody up there. You know, if you can verify that, that would be great. But that is what I heard from 3 different sources that live up there. They also sent me pictures of the Strykers on civilian streets. But anyways, what it's looking like to me is with the government shutdown, with the mass troop movements, with troops coming back from overseas, you know, are we preparing for a martial law? You know, is the government shutdown and the national emergency that Trump is going to declare tomorrow, is that just being claimed for the wall, kind of like 9/11 was? You know, oh, terrorists, some dude on dialysis in a cave, you know, attacked America, and so now we got to invade Iraq where he wasn't even located at. You know, we got to invade them and seize the oil fields. Yeah. So is the same thing happening now? Are they saying that the government shut down and the declaration of an emergency or martial law, is that really a cover for pure dictatorship? And again, don't get me wrong. You know, I was pro-Trump and still am. I'm just a little worried. That's all I'm saying. Please don't get my words twisted. You know, again, I look at history, and in no way am I comparing Trump to Hitler at all. But, you know, you look at governments throughout history. There were a lot of false flags, and I know this video is going to get marked for that, but there were a lot of false flags, you know. There were a lot of oppression of media, which we see every day, from Alex Jones to, you know, certain Fox News Network broadcasters to YouTube channels galore, you know, Facebook pages, you know, Twitter accounts, you know, all these forms that people use to reach out and reach the masses. You know, if you lean towards the right, you're easily banned. If you say certain words, you know, you're banned. You know, a lot of governments that want complete control of power, they do that. You know, there is an attack going on in America right now as we speak against our Second Amendment rights. We have gun confiscation in New Jersey. We've had gun confiscation that resulted in a shootout and a death in Maryland. And how the patriot community is not worked up, to say the least, about that blows my mind. A law-abiding citizen was killed by the government because he would not give up his guns. Because somebody said that, oh, I don't think, you know, he should have a gun. Okay. And again, that goes back to the beginning of this video. Research your red flag gun states, you know. And unfortunately, the dumbasses in my state passed I-1639. And there was even a petition on all local gun threads, gun stores, you know, all over the online. The NRA sent out to members, the NRA had on their website, to petition the I-1639 in Washington. And guess what? We only got 41,000 signatures. Yeah, pretty disappointed in my state. But, you know, the west of Washington, the Seattle, Bellingham, that whole area, they hold the votes, you know. Over here in Eastern Washington, we're a little bit more redneck than that. But anyways, that's just basically my thoughts. I'm sorry this was kind of a rant, and I kind of drifted off different places, and again, it wasn't scripted. I just had to get some stuff off my chest, guys. And that with all the choppers flying around, it kind of made it hard to do this video. And I do apologize that this video kind of went down some rabbit holes. So anyways, to summary it up, I'm pretty worried. I don't want martial law. And they can say it's not martial law, but bull fucking shit. It's martial law. Government shutdown. Building a wall. Bringing our troops home. Mass troop deployments in our country. Shutting down the country in a civil emergency. That is fucking martial law. Okay? And hate me all you want. That's what it is. Anyways, I need to go relax. But Alpha Survival, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, spread the word. I think it's time people get informed. If you're not prepping, I don't know what the hell you're doing. You're living in a sandbox or something. Because just take a look outside. Look at what's going on. We're at war pretty much. Well, I retract that. We're damn near at war with China. We had a major close call today. China's saying that they're going to take over Taiwan, the Philippines, that they're going to ram our ships, sink our carriers, all this kind of stuff. And we're going to hit them with a $200+ billion tariffs on their goods. If that doesn't make you prep, I don't know what does. And I'm not even talking about how sensitive our power grid is, or the chances of an EMP, or some major flu-like symptom, kind of like swine flu or bird flu or something along those standards that mutates. There's a lot of things in this world that you should be preparing for. If you were in the Pacific Northwest, you should be preparing for the Cascadia fault line. I mean, that's just a matter of time. Geologists straight up said Cascadia will erupt, and it will be devastating to the entire West Coast. And if you don't know what that is, we're talking Rainier, Hood, St. Helens, That's just going to affect Portland, Vancouver, Seattle, Spokane. It's going to affect everything. They're looking at major migrations of people because of it. They've even held conferences with the, I don't know if it's Parliament or whatever that Canada has, but Canadian government. They had meetings with Canadian government on how to house refugees from Western Washington and Oregon when Cascadia does erupt, because people will be fleeing to Canada. Okay? So if that doesn't make you prep, and what's going on in this country doesn't make you prep, I don't think anything will make you prep. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked again, guys. Sorry. Moral of the story, get food, get water, get munitions, get some training. You can have as many guns and ammunition and all the Gucci gear you want in the world, but if you don't know how to fight, if you don't know basic tactics, you ain't going to make it. You're going to look all pretty laying out there in the pool of blood with all your fancy gear that somebody else is going to take. So get trained. Get ready. Mentally, physically, get the skill set. Alpha Survival, I'm out.